Oh, yay. Hey, guys. It's working. Working. I'm always so excited when the services that we pay for actually cooperate and function properly. Okay, so another weird video for you. I'm going to jump in here and make sure things look all right on this end, or make sure they look normal. And there's something I would really like to do. And I don't have high hopes. This isn't a scriptural video, although every video I do on the channel I believe is Holy Spirit led. And the topics that we get into are Holy Spirit led. This video doesn't have like scripture in it. So I am attaching my link in the chat section. And I am doing that because, is it going to let me? Is it going to show up? Let me see. Maybe it won't. Oh, I might have to go in as me. Hold, please. I have an experiment I want to do, and it's like a month-long thing. It would be, this is weird, especially for me. It would be like a month-long thing, and the whole thing would be live streamed. I've seen other people do it. I know you can do a live stream 24/7. Because of the type of experiment that it is, I would have to do it that way to show you evidence and proof of the experiment that I want to do. So for this video only, I'm hooking up a link in here. I don't have high hopes. I don't, my expectations, everybody is welcome here. You don't have to pay me to be here. This is all a labor of love. But if you are interested in kind of seeing what that's about and help me out with that, because in order to partake or undertake this experiment, I would have to leave where I'm at and go be alone. And that would require like me paying rent for 30 days somewhere else or camping for 30 days, which is the ideal, would be to live stream from like a cabin for 30 days. Not an expensive cabin, like a rustic cabin, nothing, no glamping. I don't do that type of thing, and I wouldn't try to promote that. And I mean, it's fine for people that do, but I don't do that, and I wouldn't try to earn money to do that. Anyways, let's get to the topic at hand. I wanted to make sure that we are streaming, and it looks like we are, so that's good. And we can get to the topic. Hopefully everything works the way it should for the whole video. Okay, so I was going to kind of let this topic sit because it was so weird and because I lost like 3 subs yesterday. Now, usually I lose the same 2 and gain the same 2 all the time. Because I think they're just trolls. They just monitor my channel. They comment and they say certain things, and then they go away again. And then they come back and they want to comment, and you can't comment unless you're subscribed. That's how I set up the lives. And so they subscribe, unsubscribe. But I lost a couple more, and I know it's a weird topic, but I saw that Enter the Stars, Casey with Enter the Stars, got into that topic. And here's what's weird. Normally that upsets me. Like, I don't like it when people can't create their own content. And mine, I feel like, again, this is a labor of love. I'm doing it because I feel compelled to do it. I believe God has asked a lot of us to do this, a lot of us small people, and we're all over the internet and we're all over YouTube. And sharing the message, like, that's fine. But going forward and monetizing it, like, that's what I have a problem with personally. But I saw Casey's title yesterday, and I couldn't even watch his video. And I was subbed to him for a long time, him and Quantum of Conscience. And I can't stay subbed to them because their videos are triggering to me. And I don't mean triggering in like a bad way. I mean like they have so much in common with me. I don't need this now that I see it's working. They have so much in common with me that it's eerie. Like we're on the same wavelength. And so I saw yesterday that he posted about the same thing. Like he went about it his own way, right? And talking animals and wavelengths and this type of thing. But it was basically the same topic in his own way and his own talent and his own gifting. And that I looked at the time that he uploaded it, and it was around the same time that I uploaded my video. And they were both live streamed. And that's when it's organic. That's an organic synchronicity, because some synchronicities can be demonic in nature. There are ways to set things up. People do it all the time. My pseudo spouse will tells me all the time, "Oh, everybody hates you and the whole town's against you." And per se, but people about you right off the bat when they first meet you. When my neighbor asked me to babysit for her, "Oh, how are you? Is everything okay now?" Like, it was obvious to me people were talking about me behind my back, or something else was happening in my life that I was unaware of, right? Because as far as I knew, everything was fine at that time. Even way back to when I was younger and I went to Jersey Shore for vacation with family. These boys that were there knew my name, and they shouldn't have known me. I didn't know anybody there. And my stepdad even let them like knock on the hotel door and like ask for me and talk to me like outside on the balcony, which was weird to begin with because he usually wasn't like that. And so again, it's not that I think everybody is against me, but if I'm going through this, and if this is something I'm enduring and I'm just a nobody, then I know that other people are going through it. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with frequency and EMF and wavelength and vibration. And I have to go to other people for some of this because I'm not science girl. Like, I'm very open about that. I want to be, and I'm very open to learning and listening in regards to some of all of this, right? Of this side of things. So, what we're going to do is take a look at what some other people have said about this topic. We had some comments yesterday in regards to yesterday's video, and I hope the person doesn't mind because they're public comments. But we're going to follow these comments because I think they're going to lead us on an interesting breadcrumb trail. And I actually have Grimm fairy tales here because I started Googling just a bit before I got into the kind of video idea where I wanted this to go, or, just kind of a loose idea. So let's see. So first, again, these are public comments, so I hope you don't mind. Usually I don't say the person's name, but this person comments all the time. Here to there says, apparently Cain was the first satyr and he or it spoke, which I'd never thought of that. I'd always thought like the mark of Cain was something to do with Bigfoot, like the hair, the body hair, but he had the face of a human, and that's how if a hunter would see him, he'd know instantly not to kill him. That's the only mark you could give a beast that would let man know not to kill it. Do you see what I'm saying? So calling it a satyr or a cryptid kind of makes sense. And then here to there says this. And this brings up a lot of interesting topics psychologically too, in regards to current events and how we are mentally being herded like animals into a frame of mind where they want us to be. I think that if we turned off the screens, like the media, completely, and turned off all the other voices, like they say this, doctors say this says this, if we just were individuals for a while again and we turned it all off, you know how God, like he's on the outside of the firmament, right? Like, he's looking in on it. He sees everything. He sees in a way that we can't see. Things are framed for us. And see the phone? See how it's framed? When you take a picture, you're only taking a small piece of something. You're not seeing what's on the other sides of that frame. I feel like the matrix inside the paradigm, inside the real firmament is like that, like Satan's matrix. Like, if we got outside of it, we would see that it's not what they're telling us it is, and it's not all encompassing. So check this out. This is interesting. And I didn't know this, but I think, again, this is a reason they, certain influencers, certain high profile people that say they're Christians, knowing we want to be good, they will tell you, don't see this movie, don't go to see this. This is wicked. You don't want to see this. But this person says, I watched the blockbuster movie Wicked. It goes into the history of talking animals and how they were slowly suppressed of such a right. I thought that was fascinating because it reminded me of the story Animal Farm. And if you've never seen that or heard about the book, it goes right in line with 1984. But it's about animals on a farm who like try to they form a coup basically against the farmer. I'm gonna share a screen with you. And I searched talking animals in Reddit, and we're gonna look at that together. Is it gonna work? Please don't freak out. Okay, it's working. Good. All right. I always get nervous, but it's only been 10 minutes. It's not like I'm here jabbing about nothing forever. Oh, wrong screen, Jen. There we go. Okay. So we just learned that the movie Wicked talks about how animals used to talk, but their rights were slowly suppressed. Now, why does this matter? Because psychologically speaking, that is what is attempting when you take away a person's free speech, freedom of speech, when you take away their voice, right? You don't even have to take it away via laws. You take it away by not listening to them, like what's happening to me, not listening to them, ignoring them, not hearing them, talking over them, interrupting them, outcasting them from society, not allowing them to work at jobs, just not hearing their ideas, just outcasting them, making them an outcast. And it happens all over. I mean, if you have ever taken a psychology class or course, they talk about like tribalism and how that happens in tribes, about how certain people that don't fit in or don't fit the formula. And right now, everything has gone inverted. And I was always kind of somewhere in the middle. I had like time periods where I was greatly bullied and picked on, and but my attitude, like I always tried to stay, relatively okay about. Even today, I'll get mad and frustrated and upset, and 10 minutes later, I'm like, all right, pick yourself up. You got that out. You got that mad out of you. Now go do something productive and be, a productive person again, individual. But when you take away a person's voice, that there's a real psychological effect to that, and there's a real a societal dynamic to that as well. And it's not a good thing that we act in this way, and we should be better than the animals. And by that I mean we're above them in the hierarchy. We're supposed to tend to them and be their caretakers. We shouldn't be looking to them for lessons. But in Grimm's fairy tales, in the Bible with the donkey, with the three little pigs, with Little Red Riding Hood, all over you see all of these talking animals who are teaching us about morals and values and how to be better people, which is ironic, no? So we're going to check something out. I want to show you. Somebody else said this. Now, there's a lot. Now, I punched in talking animals Reddit, and there's a lot of people. When I saw that Casey was talking about a similar topic, I knew that it was Holy Spirit led because his video went out the same time as mine, and his video was live as well. And so I know that the Holy Spirit is leading us, some of us, in similar directions and in similar pathways. And that's important, and we should be sharing information. But some of their videos, I don't watch his videos because I know how close we are, and I want to know that the path I take is organic. So after I do my series on it or whatever, then I'll go back and watch somebody else's on it. So I just want you to know that that's how I operate. I try to be very transparent about where my ideas come from and why I talk about the things I talk about. Right now, I think it's vital because I think the animals are trying to tell us something, and you should always look to nature and how it's behaving. A few days ago, there was one of those inky rainbow clouds above Northeast Ohio where I'm at. And in the past, I talked about this before, there was this guy on YouTube back in the beginning of YouTube, and he said he was an outcast biologist or something, or seismologist, sorry. And he said that those things, you always see them before earthquakes. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But I think that the animals, like them all, especially the sea creatures beaching themselves the way that they are, sometimes I think that they're running from something, right? Because why would you go into such shallow water unless something, like, why do we do that? If we're in the ocean, right, and we start running out of the ocean, why are we doing that? Because we're running away from something that's in the ocean. And of course, like, science isn't going to tell us that, right? And the Bible talks about the beast of the sea. So I think it's important to, I know this sounds strange to some people, and I know even for people who read the Bible are like, "Oh, that's all allegory and it's all analogy and parabolic." And yeah, some of it is in ways, but some of it's not. Like, it's just not. There's no, they could have taught us lessons through other people. They didn't have to use talking animals, right? There's a reason for that. And there's a reason God brought all the animals to Adam and had him name them so that we would care for them. So here you have people asking about subreddits for talking animals. And again, you have your typical isolators, or your typical gaslighters. Here's a gaslighter. When I say that, this is what I mean, because this is a gaslighter, somebody who talks in definitives as if they know and there is no other possibility. First of all, animals can speak. Their speech is not for us. It is for other members of their species, and it's what's needed for their lives. Anyone who has a dog or a cat knows darn well that they talk to you. Now, we might not be on the same wavelength anymore, but once upon a time we were. Oh, and when we're going to go from this to frequency in a minute, because here to there also left a really good comment about frequency and other things. So we're going to read that too in a second here. Um, does anyone else like talking to animals but not people? I have that problem lately. The animals are talking. What does it mean? They sure are lately. Does anyone have the ability to talk to animals? I'm looking for a specific one that I found on my phone. I want to show it to you guys. How do we explain talking animals, giants, dragons, etc.? Talking animals are a sure indicator that you're reading fairy tales, and that should show you that the Bible is fictional. And see, that's just it. Like, that's just it in a nutshell. We don't receive because we don't ask. We don't find because we don't seek. And we don't know because we're willfully blind. The animals are all trying to tell us something. We're having mass bird die-offs. I have a new dead squirrel every other day. Most of them aren't. This one was run over, but most of them, they just fall off. Of course, sad. The animals, what is happening in nature, and they give us an indication and a warning when things are going on that we might not be aware of yet in places that we're not. Animals are underground, they're in caves, they're in mountains. So the slightest bit of rumbling, a change in temperature in the ocean, like, they're going to feel that immediately and head for different atmosphere. But I also think that for some reason, like, some age old, very old instinct because of slaughterhouses, like, I don't know, it's amazing, but animals still run to people when they need help. How many times have you seen stories of, like, this dog running, walking miles and miles to get a human to go help her baby cubs, or, what have you? Animals instinctively go to people when something's wrong. They tell us when something's wrong, and they want our help. And I've seen what negligence breeds. I know what negligence breeds. That's why I do this. That's why I give hours and hours and hours of my time for years now. And no, I'm not going to learn to edit with, just trolls commenting. And I'm not going to learn how to edit to hide. We're always trying to cover things and hide things since the garden. Have we not learned that we should stop doing that, perhaps? Concealing things from thieves, that's one thing. But being deceptive in our everyday lives and in our conversation and our behaviors, I'd rather have a video where it's just me and you having a talk. And granted, most of the time it's one sided, but I'm more than happy to hear comments and see what y'all have to say. And I don't block anything, I allow links to be shared and all that stuff. I don't know why that's. I could use the pop out chat, but that thing is weird. It kind of messes me up. Okay. Where is the wicked one? Hold, please, as I look for this. Thank you for your patience. Are talking animals a thing of the past? Publishers have been rejecting any book manuscript with anthropomorphized animals. No more talking animals? Maybe I'll just read it to you from my phone. Good gracious. There it is. And so I want to address this while we look at this, because this is from the movie Wicked. This is somebody's psychological assessment. They tell us something is bad or wicked, so we won't go near it, so we'll stay away from it. And that's not always the case. Moses, if you make an image of Moses in your head right now, and what does he look like? I wish I had stuff here right now and I would do it. Well, he's got a cloak, right? He's got a cloak. And he's got I got a pencil, but he's got a staff. Could also be seen as a what? He holds it up to the sky and brings down rain and thunder. It's a wand, maybe? It could be seen as a wand. We're going to have to go over that verse, suffer not a witch to live, because I'm concerned that that's in the King James, and I'm concerned that that might not have been the original definition of witch nor the original word. Moses, if you look at him in your mind's eye, he looks just like Gandalf, and Gandalf is a wizard. They look the same. Somehow, somewhere, the words have gotten tripped up, but it's keeping us from our inherent power. That's why they condemn us too. There is no condemnation in the body of Christ. You've sinned. Okay, get back up and try again. You fall down 7 times, you get back up 8 times. Christ preached about hell, but he also went down there to free people. I'm not sure that I believe in eternal flame. It says some people will just be ended. I was watching a video yesterday. I think I might have shared it on the community tab. What is it? An annihilation? It is a time when you're going to have to pick and choose the doctrines that make up your personal belief system, because the teachers can't be trusted. The people who taught us can't be trusted, and that's sad. And they know that, and they want to come fill that void with more misinformation and structure that'll look really good from the outside, but at what cost are they going to do all this? God made us to be free. That's why he was angry when we noticed we were naked. Like, we weren't supposed to feel shame. It wasn't supposed to be that way. Although he knew what was going to unfold and where we were going to go. And I imagine it's going to, again, it's going to go to a good place, but you have to have the suffering to appreciate the joy. So let's get back to the talking animals, because I think they're trying to tell us something. And if we can figure out what frequency they're on, maybe we could understand them a little better. So it says here, the talking animal issue, and this is from the Wicked movie. Now, again, we've had a lot of Christian influencers telling us, oh, don't see it. I saw it, so you don't have to suffer through it. But then when you watch movie reviews, and I know this because I watched so many of them, they miss so much. Like that series From, I have not watched anyone review that yet, or Severance, and talk about the really, truly odd things about those shows and what they have in common with like our reality. Nobody has gone over those things. Nobody will touch them. And that's why they are big sponsored channels. Several of them are Mormons, or they say ex-Mormons. The talking animal issue, were the talking animal issue addressed in the musical, the Wicked musical, because it was a book first? I don't remember it. Whatever happened to Dr. Dillamond, I don't know these characters, but they're trying to figure out, did they just stop talking? Did they ever get their voices back? What happened? Okay. No, it's not addressed in the musical. Okay, that's animals losing speech. Sorry, very new to Wicked, but if the wizard has no powers, why and how are the animals in Oz losing their speech? And again, these individuals might not have any real power over us. It's the fact that we are believing they do. So they do. That's why I don't like when certain people try to tell me that they're my friends, but then they tell me, oh, we're never going to get up out of this. Oh, the cards are stacked against us. Man, why are you talking like that? Quit being a defeatist. You tell me not to be like that. Why are you being like that? That makes me suspicious, because they want you down in your mentality and your emotional state and your emotional awareness, blinded and down, but they want to be up, right? That's the same people who will tell you, "Oh, you got to help yourself." Meanwhile, they help each other. Like that's just how it works. The Luciferian idea, that's what they say on the surface. You got to help yourself. You shouldn't need any help. That homeless person wanted to be there, or they wouldn't have done like all this stuff, right? Homeless people can't afford nothing. They can't afford drugs, man. They can't. A lot of the stuff you're seeing, again, these videos, a lot of the things you're seeing, they're not giving you the correct framework or the reason or situation. The situational awareness is vital right now. And again, this is why we have to get back to basics and foundations. And you have to look to nature and the animals. Sometimes if you don't know what's going on and you're confused, look to how they're behaving and look to what they're trying to tell you. And once upon a time, they actually did tell us things to the point where we understood and comprehended what they were saying. And I don't think, the term fairy tale has gotten like synonymous with fiction, and I don't think that was ever supposed to be the case. Some people see it as a plot hole. Now, I want to get to a couple specific comments about this. I don't think so, because Chishuri started to talk again, and once you cast a spell, it's not reversible. 2 more replies. We're going to go through that because I don't care about the plot. Oh, fiddle dee dee. Is that the same one? All right, hang on. I'm going to see what this says on my phone because I don't want to waste any more time looking for it. Thank you for your patience, though. I appreciate it. If anyone's still here, at this point, I do what I do as far as the videos go. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing them. I don't even know what to say about it, really. Okay, this one's a spoiler, but I don't care if it's a spoiler. Okay, so check this out. This person says that's exactly, now you have to get in the frame of mind. The animals used to talk, but they don't talk anymore in Oz. What happened and why? Now, the wizard is seeing like he doesn't really have powers. He's kind of a tyrant at this point. It says, that's exactly how it happens in real life, though. Most people really think that someone like the wizard has everyone's best interest, especially if you are young. That's how the youth is seeing Elon Musk right now. Everyone in Oz grows up with wizard propaganda that tells them he's this amazing guy. They literally believe he's a magician despite having no actual evidence of this. It's the same reason everyone thinks Alphaba is evil by the end of Act 1. It says they also have no reason to actually care if the wizard was behind it, given that they have started to believe that the animals shouldn't have rights. So he even has all the other people in on it by this point. If you repeat a lie enough, people start to believe it. Not only do they start to believe it, but they will start to enact it. And that's when you get into dangerous territory. And this one says a populist leader, if only. Okay. If only the Fuhrer knew. The Wikipedia page makes note that it could have been sarcastic, and I'm sure it was at times, but it also came from a real sentiment that people expressed when things went badly in Nazi Germany. If only the Fuhrer knew, this wouldn't be happening. A populist leader rises to power because people don't trust their government or their elites. That's what you're going to see happen next. You're seeing everything being torn apart now. They want you to hate Trump. By the end of this, they're wanting you to hate him, and they're going to bring in something that's going to fill that void. They already have it ready. But a leader needs the government and the power of at least some of the elites in order to rule. So space is created between the populist leader and the institution that enforce their powers. Fascists also often use secret military groups that they characterize as criminal independent of the government, like alphabet groups. Talking about these groups often seems like talking about conspiracy theories, even when there's evidence of genuine conspiracy. So that's what's being referenced. Alphaba is young, idealistic, and optimistic. She's dealt with discrimination her whole life, but there's been this paternalistic government figure, and propaganda has likely informed her that he loves everyone in Oz. So he's a comforting idea to her. That's what's coming for our lives, for our children. And they're going to fall right in with it. They're going to think that it's great because they've been trained to think that. And that's what propaganda and indoctrination is. Let's call it what it is. It's training. You're being trained. I want to find the one that I had found about the talking animals. Wow, this is crazy. This is a spoiler. Maybe I shouldn't read all these if you guys haven't seen the movie. Wicked is the social commentary. The animals represent marginalized and oppressed communities. Animals are used to show a clear distinction between humans and animals without having to create a minority group of people, if that makes sense. Using animals could also be a reflection of how certain groups of people have been treated in the past, much like they're using gas chambers to end pigs now. Why would somebody want to consume that? I didn't know that, or I would have never ate that. I had no idea. Like, that's what's in your food. In the book, Dr. Dillamond is trying to prove that the animals and humans are more similar than different. This shows how the oppressors usually target groups that they see as different. They make those groups seem dangerous or a threat to society. That everyone that voted for Trump, they're gonna say every Christian voted for Trump, and they're gonna want rid of Christians. They're gonna say that Christians are dangerous because they're making Christians look violent. Like, That's like, and I'm a pacifist. Like, I don't even vote. I don't participate. I don't think God wants me to do any of that. I follow the law of the land and I don't try to hurt my neighbors. Like, that's why it sucks that these things are happening to people like me and other people like you, because most of us have paid our taxes. We don't bother other people much. I mean, we've probably had issues, run ins here and there, like anybody. Drought conditions send wildlife in search of food, water, and cover, which means some animals travel farther than usual and into more developed areas. We should watch for that, because that could be why you're seeing some of the animals come out of the parks too, not just that things are heating up, but lack of drinking water. And they just named a new friggin' water czar. So, and he thinks water should be limited. I'm not saying it should or it shouldn't. I know that people are excessive here in America, and we have been since the 80s. Like, that was the law of the land. Live to excess, everything in excess. Go big or go home. Okay, so more on talking animals. We are going to go to talking animals in Grimm fairy tales, and then we're going to go to Tesla, because somebody here and there made another comment about Tesla, and he's all about frequency, but he also had an affinity for certain animals, for pigeons, and we're going to talk about that too. So first, let's go from here to, no, can I just search it here? I wonder if there's any ancient texts. Like, did the cats talk in Egypt? Like, did anything talk in, like, their Book of the Dead or any of that? Let's check out Grimm's fairy tales, because they're pretty old. And the Grimm book that I have here, can I show you guys? The Grimms that I have here, can you see that? Everything's like 30 seconds to a minute behind. Yep, you can. Good. It has a lot of stories in it, and some, as I said to you yesterday, like, everybody just used to know that Christ was king. We have Our Lady's little glass. Our Lady is for Mother Mary. Our Lady, they're calling her. And this was written a long, 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 long time ago. Our Lady's Child, the 12 Apostles, Faithful John. And this is in a book that also has talking animals. So we're gonna do a quick search on that. And then we're gonna look at Tesla's experiments. I have a book on him that I've not read, and I've been kind of itching to have a reason to read it recently. Now, again, it's a fictional story, the book that I got, but when things make me pick them up, there's a reason. Talking animals appear frequently in fairy tales and fables, including those collected by Grimm's and in ancient texts. Fairy tales often feature animals with human-like characteristics, like the ability to speak and live in a human-like society. Fables, another genre featuring talking animals, are shorter stories that usually illustrate a moral lesson. There's a lot of those, like Native American stories. There's a lot of talking animals. And I don't know, what is the proper way to say it? Native American Indians? Grimm's fairy tales includes the Three Little Pigs, which most people know, the Bremen Town Musicians, where the animals communicate and plan together, animal fables. These are short stories with animals as the main characters, often exhibiting human-like behavior. Examples include the tortoise and the hare. Most people know that story. And the fox and the grapes. Never heard that one. Ancient texts. Many ancient cultures also had stories with talking animals. For instance, Aesop's Fables, a collection of Greek fables, includes numerous stories with animals that talk and act like humans. Key characteristics of fables with talking animals. Now they call it anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism. Animals in these tales are often given human traits like speech, emotions, and reasonings. That is the alleged reason, we talked about this yesterday, why certain books have been banned. Why Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass, that was banned. And even Winnie the Pooh at a certain point in American schools was banned because they were concerned that the animals talked. Why though? Like why were we concerned? I think it's because they knew. It's because we eat them. It's because we eat the animals and they didn't want us, and they wanted that line of demarcation. And again, I know this is a sensitive topic and I know people don't like talking about it or hearing about it a lot, and I know I lose subscribers for it, but I also know there is a need for it to be talked about because people aren't talking about it. I'm not judging you. I'm here to try and help you. I'm not here to lead you. I don't want you to follow me. I'm here to point to, I hope, truths, and the truth, that God loves you and that He sent us a Savior to show us the way to walk this out and how to live. And I think one of those ways is to allow animals to endear themselves to us and allow them to trust us again and to not do them harm. Um, When you're young and you're growing up, a good parent will often give you a plant. And after the plant, they will get you a fish. And after the fish, they will get you a cat or a dog. Once you have had those things, then you can go off on your own and take care of yourself. And maybe eventually you can have a partner. And then maybe eventually you too can share a pet together. And then maybe you can have a child together. That is the natural evolution of life. That's what it should be. And again, I think we have to go back to basics. I think social media has taken a lot from us. We've allowed that to happen. We've gotten too used to posing for cameras, to being actors. I think that we should know that cameras are around and be on our best behavior, but also not be acting. Um, Understand what's really important here, and that most things here are just fluff and stuff, except for our relationships with each other. And I know that sounds wild coming from someone who's basically estranged from her whole family, but that's how I know that. I wouldn't talk like this if I hadn't already learned these lessons. Um, and of course, the talking animals teach us moral lessons, and it's easy to tell an allegory through a talking animal at times. But I also, why would they ban them? And I think that's because they became too endeared to us. What I find fascinating though is I wonder if we're gonna if this is gonna segue like it usually does, if this is gonna go into a cult area, if we're gonna see that like the Nazis, like Germany, tried to like experiment on talking animals or something, because that's where everything goes lately, that or cannibalism. And but again, we see with the Grimms, we see them talking about Christ and Our Lady and the 12 apostles, and it was just known. And you're going to say, well, that's in Grimm's fairy tales. That should show you that it's fake. You got to get that out of your head. That's the whole problem. Don't allow other people to tell you what's real or not. I know that things that are in that book have happened to me, so I'm not going to discount it, right? I'm not going to say every part of it is completely and utterly true or that I understand every bit of it yet, but I'm not going to just discount it. And the same could be said for some fairy tales too. A lot of times you're raised, to trust older people, that they're there to be kind, and oh, that's an elderly person, you should be good to them. But in fairy tales, it's always the old person that does you in. And I've got to say, I've learned a lot over the last several years. And first, I don't know if they just always are elderly, if it's because they get jaded. I don't know. I don't want to turn into that person. That's why I kind of feel like I should go be alone so that I don't turn into like a bitter old woman. Um, but it seems to like when I've been hurt, it's been by jealous, nasty women, and I know that, but I haven't tried to get revenge. Wouldn't I like to? Of course I would, like anyone would. But God doesn't want me to do that, so I'm not going to do that. Do you see what I mean? We got to have strength of will again. We don't have that either. We don't deny ourselves anything. You can't sit here and tell me you're strong or that you have any willpower. Just again, like that Luciferian stuff. Do what I say and not as I do. Those people aren't strong. They have numbers, but they're not strong-willed. They couldn't suffer for a day. They call their mommies or somebody to bail them out of some situation. They can't deal. If I go to jail someday, if they get me there through this whole these situations that they're setting up now, I'll count it a blessing, I guess, because Christ was in jail before he died. So it'll just be another thing that I have in common with him. And that means I guess I'm doing something right in some way, as long as I'm there, because of a false like accusation or crazy, situation. Um, we have to learn to have self-control and get back to the basics of loving each other and caring about each other. Um, do we want to look at Reddit again or go straight to I want weird, man. I want the weird side of the University of Pittsburgh. Fisher's Bird, the Juniper Tree, Old Salton, the Six Swans. Let's check this out. I think this might be what I had peeked at. And again, I've got to, I have to say it, I'm sorry. Grimm's fairy tales are German fairy tales. I was sitting there wondering, like, are we going to get into the occult where the Nazis are okay, so what does that matter? Okay, so like the boogeyman, I was saying yesterday, how in a sense, not completely, but in a sense, we help to create that with urban legends. We create the fear that surrounds it. So it's very possible in some way we are bringing these things to life and giving them life, much like you saw with Slender Man. I don't personally think all those things were fake. I don't care what those kids say now. I know what I see. I know truth. I know human behavior. I don't care. Like, and that's what I find that is most outrageous is people don't even ask anymore. People won't even say like, "Wait, is that true?" They just get into like investigating. Like here and there brought up the pyramids. And I want to bring up something that nobody else ever brought up yet that I think of. One, the pyramids could have been made with frequency. They could have used frequency to move them. Two, it could have been the giants. Absolutely. That's what I've thought for a long time is that it was the giants. Number three, they could be modern. They could look modern because they could be modern. It could be a vacation spot that they made. They could be modern. None of it could be real. None of it might be old. It might look modern because it is. Nobody ever asks, is that the truth? But anyways, the Slender Man, Boogeyman, uh, what else did we look at? Doppelganger. The doppelganger. All this stuff comes from German folklore and German culture. I've been up since like 6. I think I'm gonna have to start new baby seeds because the seeds I grew by myself were amazing. Well, between me and God, like I said, God, please bless this garden. Da da da. And then the next time I tried, I used a little holy water that I got from the new church with the priest that's kind of strange. He's got the funny teeth. He's kind of bald. Looks kind of familiar to me. But I haven't said anything. I just, I've got to be able to submit to somebody at some point, right? And nothing grew. So I had to start over. And then this year, somebody else picked the seeds and paid for them. and they haven't grown yet. Because these people don't produce good fruit, like not at all, ever. And I told them that. I told them your money isn't going to produce anything either. It's not going to produce nothing good. There's going to be a drought in your bank accounts, all of them, cryptocurrency, whatever it is. They don't want to listen. German fairy tales. This is crazy, guys. Okay, so do we have to get into all the exploring the origins of German fairy tales? Now, this actually might help us understand the occult aspects of what we're dealing with today. So let's dive in a little bit. Let's put our toes into the water, the deep waters here of German occult history. This is where it all started, where it all began. Let's make sure things are still moving along on the channel and that they look all right. Yes. Cool. Good morning. I'm listening and here to support you. Targeted Truther Girl. What's up? What's up? I hope you're still here. All right. Influenced by folklore and mythology, German fairy tales have been passed down through generations. The brothers Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, librarians and collectors of fairy tales, made these stories famous worldwide. Collectors of fairy tales. Now that's intriguing, isn't it? I know they've made movies about it, but let's just continue. With tales like Snow White and Little Red Riding Hood, children are taken on adventurous and mystical journeys. Some may be uncomfortable with the dark parts of these stories, but they've lasted for their ability to both entertain and teach children valuable lessons. I want to make a note about that too, free speech and how most of us who are a little smarter than the average bear understands to put the Fair Use Act in their description box. You don't have to keep saying this video is for entertainment purposes only, because fair use covers entertainment, criticism, like movie critics, and it also covers education. You don't have to tell anyone this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not going to say that because that's not true. Some of this is for total education. The entertainment aspect is me being a goof and you can laugh at me. People don't think I'm funny. Like I know when I'm funny. Like I try to be funny. I try to do funny things. If I'm the butt of the joke, it doesn't really bother me. It's making other people like at ease and comfortable or whatever. Anyways, with tales like Snow White, my favorite, and Little Red Riding Hood, second favorite, children are taken on adventurous and mystical journeys. Some may be uncomfortable with the dark parts of these stories, but they have lasted for their ability to entertain and teach valuable lessons. Exploring the origins of these beloved tales shows the lasting influence of storytelling and human imagination. German fairy tales capture young imaginations and encourage storytelling, making them a crucial part of children's literature globally. But what happens if you give a boogeyman story to a bunch of children that you know are right on the cusp of adolescence? Because poltergeists are usually caused by the adolescent in the house. It's not an other that's there, it's the child that's doing it because there's some type of emotional turmoil or tumult happening. And then as you age, you gain better self-control. Isolation makes your mind very strong. Mine has gotten pretty strong being alone all the time. And sometimes I wonder, iconic characters in German folklore. So what would happen if they gave a certain story like Slender Man to a group of kids right on the cusp of adolescence who maybe already displayed some type of psychic gift, like in Project Gate? Characters like the mischievous imp Rumpelstiltskin and the brave Little Red Riding Hood have become timeless. Don't ever wear red in the woods. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's the dumbest thing you could do. Don't wear red in the woods. I don't wear it at all right now in these times. I like red chucks, and I know what they say about the Pope wearing red shoes. Like, please just stop with all of it for a little bit. I've always liked red shoes and white shoes and black shoes. Whatever. It's just funny. The cunning fox and the golden bird and the magical Cinderella are diverse and intriguing personas found in German folklore. I love Cinderella. These characters teach valuable lessons about virtues such as courage, kindness, and resourcefulness. And that's what willpower. Like, yeah, you might want to do something, your body might really want to do something, but in order to break that pattern behavior, you have to tell yourself no. And you're not going to get through this time. I don't care how safe you think you are. You're not going to get through this time unless you tell yourself no about things. You need to strengthen yourself inside. And the only way to do that is through denial. And when I'm talking through this like little eye, I'm talking to myself too. Understand that. No, I don't watch every video on my own. That's weird. I do watch sometimes to make sure things go okay or whatever, but in addition to humans, German folklore features fantastical creatures like dragons, witches, and talking animals. The Wicked Witch in Hansel and Gretel and the helpful elves. So they're considering the witch. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, are they considering her an animal? The Wicked Witch and Hansel and Gretel and the helpful elves and the shoemaker and the elves are some of the magical beings that populate these enchanting tales. German folklore characters bring wonder and fantasy to stories that continue to enthrall and inspire audiences of all ages. The dark beauty of Grimm's tales. The brothers Grimm gathered. I always thought that they wrote them. I don't know about the brothers Grimm. So that's the second time. Up there, they said that they discovered or whatever they said, and now they gathered. It reminds me back in the day when they were concerned about cultures dying off here in America that had immigrated here, people losing their culture. Um, they said, I watched a very old documentary about it. I don't know why it was interesting to me. They sent people out into there went my ring light. I'm sorry. It's probably really dark in here now. They sent somebody out because it's just really dark in this room. They sent a woman out to the hills to record these songs that they had never wrote down, that the people of the Appalachians had written, but it was all oral, right? But they didn't want to lose them, so they sent this woman out with like one of the first ever Victrolas, and they recorded the music and everything. It was dope. But I'm wondering if that was an effort like this, if they collected the stories in an effort to not allow German culture to expire or die away. Well, I need to know. I need to know more. The brothers Grimm gathered and shared more than 200 German folk tales. Oh, keep doing your videos, please. I think they are modern. They did adaptations to the stories. Yeah, I've seen one of the movies, right? But it was kind of cheeky. And I've obviously read the stories and seen like the Disney movies and all that. But as far as like Grimm's themselves, I know almost nothing about them. Other than their brothers, right? And in the movie they seem to have some adventures. It was like they were going through all of the tales in their book themselves. But I see how they're setting that up, like they gathered them. That's interesting. Okay, so the dark beauty of Grimm's tales. The brothers Grimm gathered and shared more than 200 German folk tales, which you can also find in the Fairy Tales mobile app. Oh, that's cool. That collection, known as Grimm's Fairy Tales, includes iconic stories like Cinderella, Snow White, Hansel, and Gretel, which explore themes of courage, kindness, and wit. I have so many books, you guys, that like I don't want to leave behind, but like I don't know, like who wants to sit around and protect a bunch of books? The dark beauty of Grimm's tales, I read that part. Many of the Grimm's brothers' stories explore dark themes and human complexities. The original versions were not always sanitized, often including gruesome details and harsh consequences. Despite their dark undertones, Grimm's fairy tales resonate with universal truths and emotions that captivate audiences of all ages. See, that's why I hate gaslighters. Like, oh, if they're fairy tales, that should be your first clue that it's fake, that it's not true. That's how they sound to me. Very low intelligence, very I have no other word for it, very dumb, very easily entertained. Like, I don't know, just very dark and just very, I don't know, people I don't want to deal with. The gaslighting I can't stand because even right there it says how dark that they used to be, and they had to sanitize them so that they could be for children. They made them, they downgraded them, right? So that they could then be shown or released to a children audience. They targeted children with these stories, and there's a reason for that. And I think it was a way to bypass the censors. Just like the Bible tells us things in parables, and it tells us things about the Roman Empire without telling us things about the Roman Empire, if you get what I mean. Again, you still can't say certain things. Um, all roads lead to Rome in Israel, but Israel is not even real. So, like, that's a whole nother ball game that most people aren't even ready to admit to yet. Um, they used to be very dark, and the fact that they had to be downgraded to then be shown to a children audience shows you that, wait a second, these aren't just cheeky fairy tales, ha ha, that's fake, rainbow sunshine and lollipops and unicorns. These things are dark. Just like some of the things like God's face, like you'll never see God's face and live. I watched a short about God's face, and it was how seeing God's face had like ruined these people because to them it looked like a horror because we're not God, right? And it's just how we might not be ready for that type of exposure. There are dark things that we need to be careful of, and we need to, I think they needed to get these truths out to children, and that's why they were sanitized. That's okay. So, Angel of Pavlov's corn dog said, same, other than they did the fairy tale adaptations, they are allegorical. Some, and again, you can think as you what you would like. I understand that they're allegorical. I get that, but they're also not allegorical. Truther Girl says, I ended up having the TV series downloaded to my cloud, but I didn't download it. Right, that's what I watched. I did watch a part. Thank you for that. I'm gonna give you 100. I did watch some of the Grimm series, and like most series, though, like you hit season 3 or 4, and it just gets old and stale. And I'm the type of person, I don't like endings. Like I could watch a series forever if it could just keep me interested. Um, yeah, Pavlov's dog. That's a really boring way to look at life. I don't like. Again, that's that definitive statement stuff I was talking about before. I try not to do that anymore. Like, this is how it is, and I'm rigid, and that's the way it is because I said so. I'm not that way. But if you want to live that way, I mean, that's fine to live your life that way. I've seen too much. Like, I know too much. I've seen too many different things that aren't explainable by the information that we have readily available to us. I've seen things that aren't in the Bible, that aren't talked about, at least not openly in the Bible, that aren't talked about in society, that sometimes paranormal people will touch on, sometimes supernatural, godly Christians online will talk about, but very few. Most people don't want to talk about the flesh and blood aspect of spirituality. Spirituality has a very materialistic aspect to it. It just does. You reflect what you are on the inside. Moses was depicted with horns because he had horns. He just did. We aren't the first incarnation or iteration of humanoids. We just aren't. And we got to stop being arrogant and thinking that we are. What are you even talking about? Girl, bye. Later. See you, corn dog. I'm always talking about Pavlov's law. My son loves corn dogs. And we did meet that fallen angel. Is it all trolls here? Is it anyone that actually wants to just chill and hang out? Life isn't what we thought it was. I'm okay with that. Like, I can face that now. Most people are going to go screaming down the streets at some point or other. That's why you see so many people mentally breaking down at this point, because they can't deal. they're finding out that they've been lied to. And like I said, they already have a new system that's going to come in and coddle everybody. Oh, we're so sorry you had to put up with that wicked government, and these are the bad people. You need to put these people away. It's all your wicked parents, and like I already know where this is going. But if you want to think that again, you youngsters can think whatever you, what are you even talking about, girl? But you know how many people make that comment a day? You know how many people say that in a day? Do you know how unoriginal and not unique that makes you? How much a part of the machine that makes you to talk like that? Many of the Grimm brothers' stories explore dark themes and human complexities. The original versions were not always sanitized, often including gruesome details and harsh consequences. Despite their dark undertones, Grimm's fairy tales resonate with universal truths and emotions that captivate audiences of all ages. The Grimm's timeless tales introduce young readers to complex ideas. We know this, so we're going to continue. Lessons learned, modern interpretations. We don't really need that. Again, this is very psychological and allegorical. We know that. There are allegorical lessons. Like somebody that says that, right? Like, oh, this is allegorical. You know that word, but then you're going to say a phrase like, girl, bye. Oh, you poor, poor, poor people. I feel so bad that, like, I promoted that attitude in a way. Like, I have promoted that attitude. Okay, so Lewis Carroll was a strange one, too. Brothers Grimm, we're going to have to start looking into, like, we're going to do a series on these authors because there's some weird things going on with these people. Okay. So now, Snow White writes, that's interesting. Are you going to show me this side? Fables and literature. I want to show you guys the Tesla bit. So we're going to look a little, I'm just going to, off the fly here, I'm just going to check. I want to look and see if he ever did an experiment to see if he could communicate with animals. I mean, he tested frequency and he loved his pigeons. I read that in the end of his days, they sequestered him in that hotel and he couldn't leave the hotel. So he would send and receive messages through the pigeons on the roof of the hotel where he was living. Now, I asked AI or whatever it is now, was Tesla married? And this says, no, Nikola Tesla never was married. He was known for his bachelor lifestyle and famously stated that he thought intimacy would interfere with his scientific research. That's actually true. Like, if you practice chastity for a period of time, like, the longer you go, the smarter you get. I don't know how to explain it. I know I seem dumb, right? But maybe not the smarter. I don't know how to explain it. The more able to learn you are, the more able to learn new things. It frees your mind up for other things, I guess, is the best way to put it. He says, I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. He is right. He is right. He also expressed, I mean, it's very hard to create anything when you have a family. Like, I have to stop and let dogs out. I have to stop and do the laundry. I have to go cut the grass. How can I ever finish any painting? Like, and when I do, you would destroy them. So he even expressed a deep affection, here we go, for a white dove that visited his hotel room, even claiming to be in love with her. He's a strange one. Tesla is a little strange. Admittedly, he's weird. So we're going to look at something. Another comment from that same person here to there said, no, because we're going to look at frequencies, so that's why we're bringing this up, and that's why we went to talking animals to Tesla, because if anyone could get us on the same wavelength or frequency as the animals, or could get us to understand each other, it would be him. He would be the one who could do it. Someone said, there are only two waves, radiation and vibration. Interesting. Transverse waves, which are the vertical ones, are electrical in nature. Longitudinal waves are magnetic. Your heart radiates, the pulse is in your heart, like the Schumann resonance from the inside of the earth. Your brain vibrates. So that's what's magnetic. That's how they map your brain. The all-seeing eye can see everything because it's connected to the electromagnetic field. See, because that's how I picture it. Okay, so follow me for a second. Hang on. The problem, people have left divine magnetism and are left in the electrical world, which is Satan's world, EL. And people used to know this, like a lot of people who like Mennonites, Luddites, like they wouldn't have electricity because it was of the devil, they said. The problem, people have left divine magnetism and are left in the electrical world. And then he went on to say, numbers are quantities, right? Letters are qualities. Very nice comment. I love that whole comment. So let's break this down though. I knew I was going to forget that part. The all-seeing eye. So we have the eye on our dollar, and I know you've heard this a lot from other people, but I want to give you another perspective because that's part of what I do here. So I'm going to give you another perspective just briefly on the one all-seeing eye on top of the dollar. There's a verse in the Bible that says, let thine eye be single and full of light, meaning don't be double-minded. Be full of light. And if you want to get scientific with it, and again, I'm not science girl, but I try, or physics girl. And most of us know this, but I'm going to go somewhere else with it. Let thine eye be single. So that is your, what you call it? Oh my gosh, your pineal gland, Jen. I can't talk today. It's your pineal gland. I'm sorry, I got up at 5. Your pineal gland would be your single eye. How do you get that full of light? Well, if you go on a 3-day fast, 72 is the magic number. 72 hours, 72 names of God, 72 names of Satan, 72 angels of power, 72 angels of Satan's dominion. Kind of makes you wonder about things, doesn't it? If they're two sides of the same coin, maybe? In some type of way. Again, all the world is the stage. We're being refined here. Our enemies might not be our enemies at the end of us. That might be very well why we pray for them. Anyways, the all-seeing eye on the dollar. We weren't always a cultish nation. They want you to think that because they want you to tear apart your own nation. That's why they've been giving this message over and over and over. Everyone who has a big channel on YouTube is the military in plain clothes. Your own military is indoctrinating you. I don't know why they're doing it to their own country. I have no clue. It's very sad. I don't know what to say about it other than that's what's happening. You cannot listen to these bigger channels. They are showing you the TikTok compilations so that your attention spans are even shorter, so that they are framing stories for you. A lot of what you're seeing is damage control for the stuff we're already noticing, like people's faces and bodies changing, all of this stuff that we're seeing. Take that off of there. Looked like it was doing something. Okay. All the stuff that they're creating, like, oh, this plastic surgery went bad, this da-da-da. It's all damage control. Okay. So we weren't always a cultist nation. They want you to hate your own nation. They want you to hate your own country. That's why they're doing all that. So the eye on the dollar bill, let thine eye be single and full of light. That's a Bible verse. It's a good verse. It's a good thing, right? Jacob wrestled with the angel of God. Where did he wrestle? In his own mind's eye, in the pineal gland. If you go on a fast for 72 hours, this thing is released. It's called the chrism oil. It is sacred. It goes all the way through your spine. What does it hit? 33 vertebrae, baby. That is when you are like Christ. You are Christ-like. Get it? So the one eye, let thine eye be single. If you are double-minded and your vibration is all over the place, again, that is what they want. Mapping you is different though. When they do that, when they target an individual person, like with that Havana syndrome and stuff, and they map you, if you can change your thought process without having it go dark and without having it be double, you should absolutely do that if you know how to do that. If you're strong enough to retrain your mind. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, with everything going on with frequencies and energy and all the things that they are putting everywhere now. Now, again, I personally believe we've had CCTV for a very long time, longer than we've known. They've talked about the strange things going up in New York for a long time now. I've never even been there. They could very well be there, have been there. I wouldn't know any different. But I know what God tells me, and He's not misled me since 2018 when all of this started. And we've been watched since the beginning. Since the beginning. I would love to pull up that video for you, and it is under public domain, but I know how these things are. I will share the video of Noah's Ark. You need to watch that, dude. It does not look fake at all. Learn about human behavior. Go to the mall, sit on a bench, and watch people. Although now's not really a good time because we got a lot of people who don't even know how to act like people. And I don't even know how to express that to you. Like when certain things are asked of me or certain things are done in front of me or I see certain things or I hear certain things, what is going on that people don't know how to act like people no more? Like they don't know how to be people. What is this for? What should I use to wash my hair? What do you mean, what should you use to wash it? What do you use to wash your hair? Sperm online, I'm buying sperm. What do you mean? What? You're doing what? And you're going to spend that much money and you're going to believe that that's what you're getting. God knows what you might get. I might be a Luddite. I really might turn into a Luddite. I might put technology down and just go see what happens because I don't know that I can do this anymore. I don't want to hear about any of this craziness anymore. I don't want to hear stories from and it's sad to say that, but I don't want to hear stories from them about how crazy people are out there. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to see any more pictures of them holding up that stupid peace sign and telling me, oh, well, I got to do it for work. That's what I got to do. It's mandatory that you do this for work. Shut the front door, man. Shut up. You know how foolish you sound? I got to put up the peace sign for work. Meanwhile, I have you doing it with our son, who looked very effeminate in that picture, by the way, that I did notice, when he was like 7 years old. I'm so grossed out. Like, I don't even know where to go with any of this. How do you guys live with this all the time? How do you live? Acceptance. Accept people behaving like animals and trees and dogs. Do they do this in public or just in their rooms and online? Why is it allowed even to be broadcast? I get censored for talking about spiritual matters or domestic abuse, which is pretty important. And people get to be broadcast online, grooming children openly. How do you guys live out in society? Like I can't do this anymore. I can't. And I know they don't want me a part of society, so they're happy about that, but it's like that's gross. How can you want to be a part of a society that exploits and makes money mainly off of the suffering of children and animals and the most vulnerable of the society? I really want to know. Like, it's not a rhetorical question. Nobody wants to answer it, but how do you do it? Why are we doing this? Why? are we policed by screens, by people we'll never meet? People that aren't real. Make the real ones come out of the shadows. We don't have to listen to these screens. Oh, Trump said. Dude, I could care less what dude says. Is he coming to dinner tonight? Then I'll care and tidy up or whatever I gotta, I don't care. And we're okay with children just being trafficked and it just on and on. I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I don't know how you guys live in society anymore. How are you not having a consistently guilty conscience? Every dollar that goes hand to hand has probably been in a strip club. I mean, I know it has. Probably been rolled up and been up somebody's nose. I know that is true. Has probably been used to cause pain to some woman, child, or helpless individual. Like, it's not rhetorical questions I'm asking. How do you all do this? There we go. Nikola Tesla never married, but claimed to have fallen in love with a white pigeon. After its death, he told friends he felt his life's work was over. I love that pigeon as a man loves a woman, and she loved me. As long as I had her, there was a purpose to my life. And again, if you know his story, how he was sequestered. See, at the end of his life, people knew what a genius he was, right? They knew about his inventions. They knew what he would be to society. So they isolated him purposely and intentionally. They sequestered him, much like you're seeing with many of us. And I'm not saying I've never done anything great, so I don't know why they're doing it to me, other than I'm around people that are great, supposedly. Great to the Antichrist. If you do that to a person, it's very plausible and understandable that he would have a relationship like that with an animal, especially if they're carrier pigeons that he's using. But the way he explained it in another piece, I saw that he said it visited him every night, this lovely white pigeon. But birds, as in this comment here to their left, let's see. Tesla was married to a bird. Bird is code for frequency, but it is also code for something else. I put angel, but when I reply, some people just never reply. I get these cryptic remarks. Sometimes I think it's AI like helping me along. I don't know. I feel like I'm sequestered, and once I figure everything out, then I'm free. I'll be allowed to get out again. So they sequestered him and they wanted his inventions. They wanted all his papers and stuff. And, we can point to Trump for that. Okay, so they're just cracking on him for being married to a pigeon. But I want to know. Hold, please, because I'm going to search this other tab that I kind of shut off now. I'm going to punch into Tesla straight up. Ever try to... Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay. I am over so you could see it yourselves. I punched in, did Tesla ever try to communicate with animals? And it says yes. Nikola Tesla famously claimed to communicate with pigeons, particularly one he called his white pigeon. He reportedly fed and nursed injured pigeons and even claimed they could speak to him mind to mind. While his connection to animals, particularly pigeons, was unique, it doesn't necessarily indicate a scientific attempt at communication, but rather a personal connection and fascination. So he says he could, oh, wait a second, beams of light. I want to see that. Because light is frequency as well. He described a particularly white pigeon and claimed it could communicate with him mind to mind, sometimes even emitting beams of light. That's interesting. Other animal connections. Well, so what did it say to him? I want to know what it said to him. Did it warn him to hide his inventions? I want to know if it said anything prophetic to him, if it was like, oh no. He tried using cats at first, but it didn't work. That's interesting, Kiara. It says, did Tesla experiment on animals like Edison did? Yes, he did it using AC in an effort to discredit Nikola Tesla, who proposed the exclusive distribution of alternating current. Still not exactly. We're going to click on this. This is not, I mean, it is related, but it's not. I want to hear what he has to say about this. Because again, we're dealing with, I know the title is Talking Animals, but the whole idea that we could understand them and they could understand us is that we were always take me to these ad generated sites. I got rid of the ad, guys. Hang on. Among the greatest of his generation, the myths surrounding him have turned him into a cult-like figure. Conspiracy theorists believe Tesla created a death ray, a wireless power system that could transmit electricity across the world, and that the government stole all of his research documents after his death. See, this again, they're gaslighting. They're saying that these are conspiracies. But what do we know about conspiracies since talking about something, planning something? That is all it means. Why is my thing doing that? There we go. Okay. In 1899, Tesla himself thought he contacted aliens. He heard some rhythmic sounds on a radio receiver and was convinced they were extraterrestrial in nature. Hang on, though. Hang on. I'm sorry. When we get to some place, I just have to... That. How much? Ask them why they're charging you for electricity when it should be free, when it's free for all of them. Ask them why they're charging you for it. Ask them why they're charging you for it when you're one of the conductors, when you are an electric magnetic being. Why are they charging you for it? Ask your grandma or your dad if they ever, your grandpa, if they ever had a magnetic football game and how those little characters were moved across the football field with electricity and magnetism. We are conductors. Electricity should be free. We should not be made to waste our time working away. Now, granted, yes, work needs done. You should have to earn your way to a certain point. Work, I don't know, maybe from the age of 15 to 25, doing physical labor, servicing the community, fast food, whatever, something that services the community. But then you should be able to spend your peak years doing what you're good at. Like you should have found what you're good at by then and have that time to be an artisan or produce, create, whatever your creations are. This is foolishness, the way we live. How much you want to bet that they're already doing that? How much? The The nuclear sites, the towers. You know those towers where Homer Simpson works? Those are just covers. Is the picture up here on this one? Just the underneath of those towers are giant Tesla coils. See how big his inventions are? See how big that is? The towers, the nuclear towers, follow me. Those are just covers to hide what's on the inside. They want you scared. They want you in fear because if you accept, receive, and believe, it can then harm you. It gets through your spiritual armor. Fear is the first, it's like their first line of offense, right? And it puts a hole in your armor. But I'm pretty sure that electricity at this point already does go across. Like they've already implemented all these things. Just like the cables they're showing you underneath the ocean that allegedly power the internet. How did they get there? How long have they been there? Start asking more questions. This isn't happening fast enough. Like this awakening for people, it needs to be like happened because the other team is doing things. They're not talking. They're already doing, and they've been doing for a long, long time as people are getting culled from the population. And I hope it's God doing it. I really hope God is in charge of it. But it doesn't seem like that's what's happening. Okay, so turned him into a cult-like figure, blah, blah, blah. It says he heard this hum-like thing on a radio receiver and was convinced they were extraterrestrial in nature. Did you ever go on vacation? We went to a couple islands when I was a youngster, and we had to go in a bridge or a tunnel that was under the water. We had better reception there. We didn't lose reception in the underwater tunnel like you do in the land tunnels. You need to start asking certain questions. The next year, the Red Cross asked Tesla to predict man's greatest possible achievement in the next century. He replied by admitting he may already have achieved it by receiving a message from another world. Oh my goodness. To the American Red Cross, New York City. And that's interesting because what did we see at the beginning of 2019? A giant repainted, repurposed boat come in, two of them, one to New York, one to LA, one to each side of the country where, gee, anyone could have gotten out or anything could have gotten out. Same thing with these cargo containers. Anybody could be in there. Soldiers, anything. The retrospect is glorious. The prospect is inspiring. Much might be said of both, but one idea dominates my mind. This, my best, my dearest, is for your noble cause. That's a coded message if I ever heard one. I've observed electrical actions which have appeared inexplicable. Faint and uncertain though they were, they have given me a deep conviction and foreknowledge that before long, ere long, that's what that means, before long, all human beings on this globe as one will turn their eyes to the firmament above. There, Tesla said it, guys. There's a firmament, if anyone's still in doubt. Firmament above, with feelings of love and reverence, thrilled by the glad news. Brethren, we have a message from another world, unknown and remote. It reads, 1, 2, 3, Christmas 1900, Nicholas Tesla. In a 1910 letter to the New York Times, Tesla claimed the sounds came from Mars. Most certainly some planets are not inhabited, but others are, and among these there must exist life under all conditions and phases of development. Personally, I base my faith on the feeble planetary electrical disturbances which I discovered in my summer of 1899. Say it is. Okay. Yes, I'm the typo queen. I'm sorry. All right, let's see. Nikola Tesla studies on frequencies and communications. I don't even know how long this is. Better check. Yeah, I'll wrap this one up soon. I know it's not the best videos lately, guys, but there's a reason I'm going superficially across the board over some of these topics. And there are breadcrumbs that I'm leaving in all of these I do it in all the videos, but especially the last few, there have been some breadcrumbs that I've left purposely throughout. Okay, so Nikola Tesla studies on frequency and communication centered around the idea of using radio waves to transmit information and power wirelessly. He believed that the Earth itself could act as a conductor for these waves. So are we. So are we. You think that all these waves traveling, like they got to go through your body to get to the next machine or the next person. That is going to affect you. There's got to be a way to make sure that this is non-damaging and non-harmful. And again, go back to the source. That's where we'll find our answers, usually. He believed that the Earth itself could act as a conductor for these waves, enabling long-distance communication and energy transfer. Tesla's experiments and inventions like the Tesla coil and Wardenclyffe Tower aim to demonstrate the feasibility of this concept. All right, so I've never seen the Wardenclyffe Tower. Do I have to look at that? We keep towers are like towers, portals, docking animals, Germans, and cannibals. Like they're themes for the channel. We're always stumbling upon these things. So towers, for anyone who doesn't know or wasn't here for our previous studies on towers, towers originally I started looking at them because I heard like on Reddit, it was actually in a movie, I think, and then I started looking for it. It was about a Welsh tale that said the devil traps souls in towers. And then I started thinking of like the Tower of Babel, and why does the Leaning Tower of Pisa look like the Tower of Babel? And then I started thinking of electrical towers and computer towers and towers this and towers that, right? So what is Wardenclyffe Tower? I have to see. I'm sorry. This is how the research with me kind of goes sometimes. I know what it looks like. All right, so this would be what I was talking about. Maybe. Let's check it out. If my theory holds water, this is what's actually underneath the nuclear covers. Those are just covers. Like where Homer Simpson works, the big nuclear towers, those are covers on top of that thing. Looks about right, doesn't it? You think it's possible? I think we have free energy. And I agree with RFB. I don't know that there is any such thing as, I think nuclear power can harm us like from God, like that way, but I don't think even their testing stuff was all dioramas. It was all little models. It was all little diorama stuff. And I said that long before Joe Rogan. He's just another meathead that steals off of little people because he's not creative on his own. And they're not creative. They're just not. I don't know why they're like that. The fallen angel progenies, the hybrids, they don't have, they're strong. They're strong as all get out and they're charming as heck. But they don't create. They don't know how to create things. They can't write, they can't design, they can't compose. They can copy, but they can't. I know this firsthand. I know from being with them side by side, working side by side, I just know that. And it's sad. It makes me sad. So the Wardenclyffe Tower, I think, could actually work for what I was talking about. If nuke energy is fake, or at least fake in the way they're saying, this is how this thing could be housed in what we think is a nuclear tower, if that makes sense. Okay. So to provide limitless free energy to the world, he planned to build a network of towers that would work together to transmit energy across the globe. Sounds like the pyramids, doesn't it? A network of, instead of pyramids, they're towers. Unless pyramids used to be called towers, like what else would you call those? Pyramids are kind of towers. And it's where people were sacrificed, allegedly. You could say that the devil kept souls in those towers. I have all this useless information, but sometimes it all lines up. He planned to build a global network to transmit energy free. Tesla believed that this system could provide a source of free and limitless energy to all. It was also intended to facilitate communication, transmitting signals wirelessly, like cell phones, like what we have now. Now they just design them in all kind of different ways. They just look all kind of different ways now. The project faced funding issues. Horse poo. Horse poo. Money is paper. You get some guy with a company and he's into the idea. You say, yeah, I'll build that for you. Like, why do we? Never mind. Because charities are a scam, that's why. Because they run these scams so they don't have to work. So they tell you, oh my gosh, this happened in some far off land. And I like helping people, but now I've learned to help people closer to home because people lie and people steal because people don't want to work, which I get. Our system is bunk, but you need to contribute to overall society, like, or at least don't trash it. Like, don't ruin everybody else's stuff. Feasibility. It remains a mystery and was never fully realized. I don't know what that means. The project was ultimately abandoned around 1906 and never became operational. What happened in 1906 that it didn't become operational? Okay, let's go here. There we go. All right. High frequency alternating current, wireless communication, a world wireless system. He conducted experiments in Colorado Springs, demonstrating the ability to illuminate lamps from a distance, proving the existence of terrestrial stationary waves. That's when he proved that we are the conductors. When you see the picture of him holding the light bulb and the light bulb is lit, but nothing, it's not plugged into nothing, he is the conductor. You just have to learn how to use your vessel, use your temple. And most people today don't want to do that because they don't want to go through the cleaning out of the temple because it takes discipline. And we have a lot of people running around like they're immature children with no discipline these days. Influence on modern technology? No. He conducted experiments with resonant frequencies, which involve using vibrations to create a powerful resonance that can be used to transmit energy wirelessly. In these experiments, he discovered that certain frequencies, such as those based on the numbers 3, 6, and 9, had a particularly powerful effect. Numbers are quantities. How could numbers have an effect on energy, though? Like, how are you using the number that it affects an energy ray? Do you know what I mean? And again, comment in the comment section because physics girl, I am not. I am searching here to try and learn. Unifying quantum and regenerative, no. Planetary, no. Master of lightning, high frequency. Okay, frequent ratio in the freest. Oh, they're saying 369 code resonant frequencies that the neuron emits. That would be stimulated emission. I have a general understanding of what they mean. Not great, but general. Frequency healing, frequency for sleep, frequency quote. I want to know. All right, let's try this. On frequencies regarding. Oops. And this will be our last little search here. I'm going to do some searching on my own. That way I can have the next couple of videos will be more organized. But like I said, I'm doing superficial studies on this for a reason. I really want to get into Tesla as like our next person to look at. Um, and I also want to look at people like the Grimm's brothers and their lives and why they were compelled to gather those stories. That includes so many animals that talk. Why did they go do that? What was their inspiration to do that? What was their motive? So did he not believe? So he believed in other planets, but he didn't believe in other dimensions. Oh my God. Resonance and vibration. Tesla's work involved understanding and manipulating resonance, where a system's natural frequency is excited, leading to amplified vibrations. He famously demonstrated this by using his oscillator to cause a steel girder to shake and vibrate, mimicking an earthquake, which he later used as a test of his theory. Now, I know there's people that say there's earthquake machines. I get it. Fracking can cause an earthquake. Like if you start digging around, you're gonna count like the ground is gonna become unstable. You're gonna cause settling, and all these other things are gonna happen. That's common sense. Some of us are watching for a really big one if the earth don't repent of its ways. Yeah, so he didn't get into any dimensional. I don't even know how to phrase this question. Okay. So last thing, real quick, since I still got you here, I want to know why. There we go. We'll close it out again with the talking animals. I was looking for with the Nicholas Tesla, seeing if he had done any work or studies on communicating with animals or other like beings, like meeting, changing our frequency, changing the frequency of maybe your voice, right? To go to a different dimension is the only way I could phrase that. So I'm still working on what you have to know what you're looking for before you can find it. So I'm looking for a needle in a haystack right now. But I know there's something here, or there wouldn't be other people talking about talking animals right now. The Grimm brothers, Jacob and Wilhelm, primarily collected and published fairy tales to preserve German folk culture, which we said, oral traditions, which we said, which they believed were in danger of disappearing. They saw these stories as a vital part of German heritage and wanted to ensure their survival. Let's go a little deeper and make sure what we're hearing is the truth, or at least see if it resonates as the truth. The brothers recognized the importance of folk tales as a reflection of the German culture. They intended them as a scholarly work for a broader audience. They were interested in exploring the origins and evolution of these stories, contributing to the field of folklore studies. Me as well. The Grimm brothers were deeply influenced by Romanticism, a movement that emphasized emotion, intuition, and the value of folk traditions. This philosophical framework led them to see folk tales as a valuable source of cultural understanding and national identity. That makes sense. It's important to clarify that the Grimm brothers did not write the fairy tales themselves, but rather collected and compiled existing stories from oral traditions. Interesting how they saved fairy tales. The original oral folklore focused on. I want to know about them, though. Can we get a quick. Can we get a quick biography on the brothers, then? Shall we? Brothers Grimm. They're German. I can't do a German accent, I don't think. Kind of creepy. All right, let's see. The brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm, were German academics who are best known for collecting and publishing fairy tales known as Grimm fairy tales. They were also linguists. You would have to be, though, to collect writings like that from all over. And scholars, and their work on folklore established a methodology for collecting and recording folk stories. Wonder if any of their stories are about skinwalkers, because skinwalkers could be seen also as animals that speak. And again, a lot of this stuff could come from genetic tinkering from the fallen angels. Although it looks like in the beginning, animals spoke anyway. It says they meticulously gathered the stories. Children's and household tales. They were called Kinder und Hausmärchen. Oy, I don't know if I did that right. This collection, which evolved through multiple editions, introduced the world to Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel, Rapunzel, Snow White, and many others. Beyond fairy tales, let's see. They were also scholars who made important contributions to linguistics, including Jacob's famous discovery of Grimm's Law. What is that? Their methodology for collecting and recording folk stories became a foundation for future studies. I want to know about them, though. Like, how were they raised? Are they goofy? Were they funny? Are they serious? They look like regular old chaps from back then. What is the scariest? I don't know if I want to know. What fairy tale did the Grimm's brother write? They didn't write any, did they? Themselves? I don't think. See if there's anything different about them here. Their father died when they were young, and they became poverty-stricken because of it. Within the Holy Roman Empire, present-day Germany? Do I really know nothing about history? I wasn't taught that Germany used to be Rome. What? Within the Holy Roman Empire. No kidding. So they admit they renamed places? Oy. Also known as the Holy Roman Empire, also known as the Holy Roman Empire of the German nation after 1512, was a polity in Central Western Europe, usually headed by the Holy Roman Emperor. It developed in the early Middle Ages and lasted for a millennium until its dissolution in 1806. It lasted for a millennium. During the Napoleonic Wars for most of its. On December 25th, 800, was that still celebrated as Christmas? Hold up. Crowned the Frankish king Charlemagne, Roman Empire. That's when my family come under, right there, is when we came under captivity, I guess. Reviving the title more than 3 centuries after the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476. Oh. So which one is over there now where the Pope lives? What is that one? What is that called? Hold up. Map of Roman territory. Well, yeah, that's Italy. Oh. I mean, I know I'm not the smartest girl, but I don't know that I like the way all that played out. It's kind of weird. It says it reigned for a millennium, you guys. Millennium reign? Millennial reign? That's strange. And he was crowned emperor. Oh. He was crowned the Frankish king. The Frankish king was crowned the Roman emperor on Christmas by the Pope. I'm so confused. It's all politics, man. I don't want no part of any of it anymore. It is all politics. I hate it all. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so. I hate it all. I really do. I want the truth of these things. And I'm tired of the gaslighters. Oh, that's fake. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, da da da. Anyone that believes that stuff and anyone that goes along with that stuff, those aren't the kind of people I need at this channel. I want people who are spiritually mature or who want to be spiritually mature or who are trying to grow as individuals and who want to learn new things together with me. Teach me new things. I'll teach you things if I know anything. Like, seriously. The mental midgets and stuff, if you're just going to parrot stuff other people say and, like, go be somewhere else. Okay, so they got. I do not understand politics of back in the day. Exhorted them to be industrious. Okay. Okay, so everybody basically died. They had no money. They were poverty stricken. They only had each other. They had no male taking care of like their financial needs. So their aunt paid for them to go to school. It says Jacob was introspective. Wilhelm was outgoing, although he often suffered from ill health, but shared a strong work ethic and excelled in their studies. In Kassel, they became, that's where they went to college, university as they call it there. In Kassel, they became acutely aware of their inferior social status relative to highborn students who received more attention. Each brother graduated at the head of his class, Jacob in 1803, Wilhelm in 1804. He missed a year due to scarlet fever. They look like average dudes. After graduation, they attended the University of Marburg. It had about 200 students. Oh, they were not treated equally. They were disqualified from admission because of their social standing and had to request a dispensation to study law. Wealthier students received stipends, but the brothers were excluded from tuitional aid. Are they twins? No, I think one is younger. Yeah, because 7 and 10 when their father died. So, no, they're not twins. I was going to be like, look, this is too much. Inspired by their law professor. I just want to see if there's anything strange that. We 5 people eat only 3 portions and only once a day. Yeah, I know that. Oh, we only get to eat once a day. Well, you know what? That's good. That's you're not gonna starve. I just people today, it's just wild. So the one they worked at a library, so they probably had. No, that's how you get your education too, right? You're working at a library, you're reading a lot of books, taking in a lot of information. You get a passion for collecting information. You want to go off and search, but what made them want to. On May 15th, here we go. Of course. It's a woman, 1825. Wilhelm married Henrietta Dorothea Dorchen Wild, a pharmacist's daughter and childhood friend who had given the brothers several tales. Jacob never married but continued to live in the household with Wilhelm and Dorchen. In 1830, both brothers were overlooked when the post of chief librarian came available, which disappointed them greatly. They moved the household to Göttingen in the Kingdom of Hanover, where they took employment in the University of Göttingen. Jacob as a professor and head librarian. Okay. So he got the first tales from the wife. Berlin in later years. I'm thinking the German roots have a real effect on this and the. I just get the feeling there's more here. Like, I feel like they were like us, like they were seekers, like they were looking for something specific. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. Okay, yeah, so they wanted to keep their history. Interesting. I am going to keep looking at the talking animals thing because I got questions. I want to know about Jonah the whale. I want to know about the donkey. I want to know about the snake. Was it a lizard who was turned into a snake? And was it all snakes at that point? Did they used to be special lizards? Did all lizards used to walk? Why weren't they all turned into snakes? And, oh, well, they're fairy tales. They're not real. Obviously, some part of them are real, though, because here we have snakes, and here we have men and women, and here we have snakes that slither on their bellies, right? Like, we have these animals everywhere. And it's just, I don't know. We are in a time like no other. I'm going to look up one last thing, but I'm going to do it. I'm stubborn. I'm curious about something. Sometimes people I just want to see if there's anything out there. I'm going to check it out on my other search engine too. Somebody commented in our schizophrenia. I want to show you guys this because this comes up a lot too, this guy, because I think it's a anagram. I think Son of Sam was not one person. I think it was about a group of people. And now he said that this was a hoax, but it goes along with the topic. So I'm going to end here with some woo-woo, with some creepy woo-woo. Can always rely on Reddit. Harvey. Okay, so this is a serial killer, Son of Sam, or David Berkowitz, whatever you want to call him. Allegedly a schizophrenic guy who needed a lot of help and caused a lot of harm one very, very hot summer. A lot of the stories, I don't think he acted alone. I think it was a group. I think Son of Sam actually stands for Synagogue of Satan. I think it was their signature. I think it was a lot of them. One of the people who actually got away, one of the only people who got away, because she was taken very haphazardly, she got out of the car. Her name, ironically enough, was Erin Valenti. Not our Erin Valenti from We're in the Matrix, Erin Valenti, but her name is Erin Valenti all the same. I find that very interesting. And it leads me back to the patterns thing. Like, is our media just being fed patterns of stuff? I'm not saying none of it's true. I'm saying there's a few things going on, I think, as far as that goes. I think some of it's true. I think some of it's like to hurt us. I think some of it polices us. So Harvey the dog told the serial killer David Berkowitz, aka the Son of Sam, what to do. Berkowitz declared that the dog was possessed by a demon that gave him instructions, which he simply followed. He was just obeying orders, man. He was just being an order follower. I just worked the guillotine, man. I just did what they told me. I had to feed my family, man. I was just working at the chopping block. I didn't make the orders. That's how it starts. Order takers. So there's the actual dog. Let me see if I can go. Go back to the results. I want to actually see the fake. They say it's fake. Like after this, he took it back. But I want to hear the initial story and I want you guys to see it because I think it's valuable. And a lot of times we were told the Pope died in 2019. They retracted that. We were told, did they say the Queen had died? I can't remember. Get out of here and leave me alone. Who cares what I'm under? Let's get rid of this one. There we go. All right, and this will be the last thing. Son of Sam claimed a possessed Labrador gave him demonic orders to kill. So that's what he did. All my disclaimers are in the box. The ending spree of the serial ender, Son of Sam, between 76 and 77 triggered one of the largest police manhunts in New York City. And he looks like a flippin' comedian. He reminds me of that guy. If any of you have parents, like if any of you are my age or have parents, that what was that? What was that show called? Cat Taxi or whatever. It was a comedy show, but the guy on it was always depressed. I think Jim Carrey might have played him at one point. Um, it's weird how they play a part and then they play a part and then they play a part. It's like, who's the real guy? So is this even a real guy? Is he just playing a part? I don't know, but he looks like that guy a lot. Okay, so by the age, it says he lost interest in learning at a young age, became infatuated with petty theft and starting fires. Oh, that's good. By the age of 17, he joined the U.S. Army and served time in South Korea in 71. Interesting. Why is it always somebody from the military? Why is it always a military person? It's never just a regular civilian. After a dishonorable discharge 3 years later, Berkowitz managed to track down his birth mother, who disclosed the details of his illegitimate birth. This news greatly disturbed him and shattered his sense of identity. And why does it go back to the mother? Dude, it had nothing to do with his mother. It was probably being in South Korea that did him in, but they're going to blame the mother. His illegitimate birth, I'm sure he was well aware. Like, at this point, like, that only mattered way, way back in the day, if it even mattered. During the mid-70s, Berkowitz started committing violent crimes in New York City boroughs of the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. He favored females, most often with long, dark, wavy hair. In 76, one of the Berkowitz Army friends gifted him a, you see what it says there? Now there was no stopping him. These are his pretty victims, poor girls. Oh, there she is, Jody Valenti. I'm sorry, she's the one who escaped. Jody Valenti was wounded. She escaped. I really wonder if she's related to Erin Valenti, if that's her mother. That's her right there. On a phone. Communications, baby. Does that, and because Erin Valenti created communication apps. Tinker Apps was her creation. Now they're using it for other things. And that's what she didn't want to happen, allegedly. But I wonder if they were related. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not a picture of her. These are the ones who didn't get away. But the one who did get away, last name is Valenti. Interesting, isn't it? How things. Ooh, I did not ask. Why are you doing all these things? I want to go to the part where he talks to his dog. He says, "What took you so long?" In his confession, Berkowitz claimed that his neighbor's dog, a black Labrador retriever, was possessed by an ancient demon and commanded him to do these horrible things. Now he's in Shawangunk Correctional Facility in New York. He's found Jesus and refers to himself as the Son of Hope. Boy, do we believe him? Well, we can pray for him, I suppose. But there's just one recent case, and I wanna know if the demon gave him a name. I'm very curious if that demon gave him a name. Because you see this stuff, these are patterns, guys, and they float around everywhere. Can they actually talk? Is it demons talking through them? Is it God and the devil using animals like they use us, like little pawns on a chessboard? What do you guys think? I think it deserves a deeper look. So I'll be studying it. If it's something that you're interested in looking at with me, again, please do let me know. Thanks for your comments, keeping me company. Thanks for hanging out. Again, I haven't really decided what I'm going to do. Life's kind of been like that the last couple of years, but when you don't have any options, you kind of have every option, because what do you got to lose, right? If I go out there and just turn into a vagabond, it's not like anything can really be taken from me at that point. So the biggest concern I would have is staying warm. You guys stay blessed. Have a great day. And go be kind to somebody, please. Have a blessed day. Bye, guys.